Hello, my name is Alexander Morari, and I'm the founder of ITKeyMedia. You've tuned into our podcast about Central and Eastern European startups that are in pre-Series A stage. And our guest today is Paweł Paczuski, the co-founder of upmedic. Upmedic is a web-based platform for creating, storing, and analyzing textual medical documentation. Dzień dobry, Paweł.
Dzień dobry, Alex. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you here.
Now, let's jump at it right away and start with round one, the solution. So tell us in very brief kind of nutshell what you're building, who is the target client, and where you stand right now with the product development.
Okay, so yeah, as you said, it is a web platform that is for medical documentation. And what we change in the way that the documentation is created nowadays, we make it structured. So not only people can understand it, but also computers. Because if you have a document that is stored in a very precise way, it has a lot of imposed structure, you can run queries. So it isn't very useful for one document, for instance, a radiological report. But if you have 100,000 of them, then you can gather a lot of insight automatically. You don't need a person to read each report one by one, but you can ask queries, which can be quite abstract, because you can, for instance, ask the database, okay, get me the list of all the reports that describe a healthy patient, or a patient with a pathology located on the left side of their body. Those kind of queries are enabled by our software, but it is not the only thing that we improve. We also make doctors who create documentation much more productive, because they do not have to type on keyboard. They do not have to dictate their reports. They simply click on phrases that are most commonly used to describe patients. So we use some standardized terminology, and doctors do not have to think how to phrase their observations. They only select from a small subsets of phrases, and the whole sentence, phrasing it into a sentence, punctuation, all of that is being handled by the program, and then stored in a format that is easily queryable by a database engine.
Okay, so if I understand in a nutshell, this is a situation where instead of natural language, you are transforming the texts, medical texts, into machine language, or language to be understood by machine, okay? And then what you allow doctors as well is it's something of a business intelligence kind of add on to their daily operations, right? I mean, I say business transferring from other concepts, but of course this is like medical, let's say, intelligence. Okay. Can I ask you a question? So in a more general context, what information is fed into the system? Pictures, pictures, or automatically created diagnoses and so on? What do we feed into the system, and what is on the output?
The input to the system is the human thought, because doctor analyzes medical imagery. He's like they are the primary source of knowledge, and what we kind of make easier is to transfer their thoughts onto the computer.
I see.
Okay, and this is one of the inputs. The other one are the computer vision algorithms that already might analyze very specific parts of human body, but the doctor has to verify the diagnosis, and they have to sign the document. So they can rephrase when they think that, okay, maybe it is quite okay to some level, but the human brain would analyze it better. So the doctor has the final word in the as an input, and the output is first of all a documentation that is stored in those machine readable formats, but also we create a classic radiological report as you would type it on keyboard, but with all those boring, mundane tasks related to textual editing, like punctuations, formatting, done for you.
And so the streams the input streams are of two completely different or very much different nature. One of those is text produced by doctors, and second group of or second category of input information is visual, right? And so in the one case, it's natural language recognition, I understand, the processing, and in the other, this is visual recognition or image recognition. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is like two different pretty big challenges technically combined into one product. Why do you want to combine? Why don't you want to focus on, for instance, on the image recognition? Yeah?
Yes, actually, I would say that all of the inputs are in a textual form because we do not like train our own computer vision models. We use like partners for those components. And what we receive from them is a structured like diagnosis, because those algorithms, those models can detect very specific pathologies, and they return, like, for instance, JSON formatted observations that we feed into our program, and we like augment those inputs with the observations done by a doctor.
Okay, which are then dissected into specific bits of information that you could later on reassemble into like texts needed for specific reasons. Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So take me by the hand. I'm a patient, let's say, and I have a problem. I go to a doctor, and so the doctor makes a picture. And where do you appear in this process of me being diagnosed? Okay. So let's say this is like lung X-ray. Okay.
Yeah. So first of all, probably you've met a technician who did the examination. You didn't meet the doctor. So the technician took a picture of you, and they upload the image to the system. That is a radiological system. It has all the personal data of a patient, and there are many of patients like you who have their photos taken, and all of those like images are queued by the system, and then radiologists who are trained in like recognizing pathologies in medical imagery, they get a patient, a case to diagnose. So they get the image, and they have to create the report. And this is where we come in. We are the text editor in which you create the diagnosis. So first of all, you can phrase your observations, but also you can launch some models on the, like you can feed that image into some models, so they diagnose for you, and you then verify what the model said.
Okay.
And after you finish, the text, the document that you created is fed back to the radiological system. We make this the process of text, of creating the diagnosis, of creating the report as automated as it's possible, and then we return it to the classic medical system.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, interesting. Now, what about the business side? What's the pricing model first and foremost, and how advanced are you in taking this platform or this product solution to the market?
Okay, can you repeat the first part?
Yeah, what about your expansion and stage of product market fit or promotion and like selling it to customers?
We sell it via subscription model. It is a subscription based on a per seat, per person actually. So you have your personal license attached to you. You can use our software in as many clinics as you can work in. The system like travels with you around those places. And we currently are deployed. We focus on both B2C and B2B segments, because we offer our solution to individual radiologists and other specializations, but we also partner with clinics. We have a big network of clinics that we are deployed into, and then you can like receive the benefits of using us on a bigger scale, because all of your doctors use our software in a standard way, so their documentation is similar, so it is easier to be analyzed and so on. As an individual, you benefit from being more productive, but as an owner of a clinic, you benefit both on the being able to service more patients per hour, but also having those standardized documentation that you can query, and then gather some insights about your patients, who you treat, and what are the, for instance, most frequently diagnosed diseases, and you can make some business decisions because of this.
You know what caught my attention here is that you are ready, and I understand this is your practice as well, to give, to sell by the seat per specific medical professional, no matter in what organization they are using the platform, right? Then simple technical question: how do you assign this seat? Ready to assign this for or to private email like Gmail and other services of this type?
Yes, yes,
okay.
Yes. It is.
You don't care.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Interesting. Out of curiosity, don't you see this as a blocker for, like, selling or selling more subscriptions? If you do this from not by individual, but by a, let's say, email address or for a specific hospital and so on.
For hospitals, it might be quite a different case, because they might require from us that because usually if you're a B2C client and you pay for the license you get access to the public cloud instance of our software. But if you're a hospital, you might have some additional expectations on where you store the medical data that you create with our system. So we can deploy a private instance of it into your clinic, and then you have no connection between those, I would say, tenants or like that. Yeah. So you would need to have separate licenses for this case.
Okay. And look, right now from your website, we see 3 pricing bands: teleradiologist, which is, I understand, it's a personal, personal dimension, like B2C or like for one seat. Then you have also cloud workflow and enterprise. And the first band is €150 per month per user. Clear? What about enterprise? Out of curiosity, do you have any enterprise subscriptions sold? And if yes, what's the ideal pricing range, let's say, for you?
This enterprise offering is mostly based on, has this on-premises like deployment, that you have separate instance of our solution deployed into your private network. And we bill it based on the number of doctors that you want to use our software, and also we bill it relate the price to the difficulties related to integrating the software with your existing systems that you have within your clinic. So this is you have some in that enterprise offering. You have, of course, licenses for the software, but there might occur costs related to very unusual integrations that you might require from us.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is more individual pricing based on the setup that you have in your clinic.
As far as your expansion right now, in what countries are you now present? How many clients of different type you have right now? If you could open up a little bit on this one.
Yeah, we started with Poland. We also are also doing some research in Canada. We also want to focus in the next year, at the beginning of the next year, to on some Latino countries, Spanish and Portuguese speaking countries, especially South America. We currently are deployed. Yeah, we have several B2C and B2B clients, like those networks, like that network of clinics. And yeah, this year was mostly all about Poland, because we needed to, first of all, polish our software. We needed to gather as much feedback from the market as possible. And we also wanted to find the possible barriers of like that would stop us from being deployed. Yeah.
Okay. So, and have you managed to find any like major blockers in the meantime? And what are they?
Yeah, there are several types of blockers, because, for instance, there are like two groups of people, two groups of doctors. Some of them love dictation, speech recognition, and that stuff. Some of them really hate it. So yeah, it's a very like I would say Linux versus Windows. There is always this fight between those two groups, and the same thing happens between doctors. We integrated some speech recognition mechanisms into our software so it is more interesting for those who want to use speech recognition to dictate their reports. But we also wanted them to benefit from the structure that we impose on the data. So this is kind of a hybrid approach. We want to like persuade them not to use speech recognition as much as they would want, because they lose those querying possibilities related to medical documentation. So we managed to invent some tricks to make it like to persuade them via UX.
To make them less dependent on speech recognition, I understand.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And as far as speech recognition, have you created your own engine for speech recognition, or you just implemented whatever is available in the public domain?
We integrated the publicly available speech recognition system.
And Polish is not. Yeah, Polish is known not to be the easiest language for recognition, especially in medical dimensions, with all the like declinations and endings and so on and so on. Was this any like big challenge, or was it easy to be done with? Or did you have to educate the speech recognition engine for medical context? And if yes, how did you do that?
Yes, we use like a general purpose speech recognition engine, but we also have a lot of medical vocabulary stored within the templates that we have in our system. And we know that if there is a small difference between what the speech recognition recognized and what we have in the templates, probably the wording that is present in the template is the right one, and the wording that the doctor expects. So we make a kind of snapping from
So you give more weight
text
to the you give more weight to already professionally, let's say, vetted words. Interesting. And you did this by yourself, right? I understand this additional learning curve for the speech recognition.
Yeah. Yes.
Interesting. Okay. What do you think of GPT, by the way? Is it any helpful for you? GPT-3, I mean.
Not now for us, but yeah, it will be useful in the future.
Is it still the same way as they had in the very beginning? You apply, and then if they like your idea, they will give you access. Is it the same right now, or can you buy now like commercially? I mean, X to GPT, you know it?
I heard that there were like having closed beta for it. You needed to ask, but I don't know if it is open right now. I'm not up to date on the topic.
Okay. Now, you sure are up to date with the next topic of our conversation, and round 2 is about competition. Naming or not disclosing the names of the competition, where would you say is the most, the biggest challenge competitively speaking?
Okay, we have a big competitor in Western countries, in Germany actually, and yeah, they are good in what they do. We know what makes a difference between our and their solution. We also have some more flexibility to the templates that we allow our doctors to create. So,
why?
Yeah.
Is it due to more sophisticated and more like fresher, more modern kind of technology, or just because of your own approach to this? You have to be more flexible, and you are open up, and you allow your users to be more flexible. Yeah, on the
yeah, I would say that the flexibility comes from the Polish way of creating medical documentation.
What do you mean? Polak potrafi. When you say something like this about medical professionals, it's not very, it's not very, not very funny. Might be. But in all seriousness, what do you mean? Just because Polish medical professionals are more open to experiments, I guess.
I would say that there are no standards in the medical documentation in Poland.
So not as regulated.
Software, okay. Yeah, because in the US you have you have standards, you have templates that doctors should follow. You have checklists. In Poland, you have some publications. You are taught at school, but you are not checked if you adhere to those standards. And each of doctors has their own style, I would say. There are some movements that want to standardize the reporting, but it is an early, it is in the beginning of its journey.
I can see here that, okay, this is an opportunity for you to, based on this, to develop a product and solution here in Poland. But then isn't this a limitation for further expansion outside of Poland, where this dimension is more regulated and local players already are far ahead of you?
In terms of flexibility, it is very often more difficult to create a solution that is more flexible, but then not use all of its flexibility. So in this aspect, I would say it is quite easy for us to just not use all of the flexibility that we implemented. But yeah, it is all about the adoption. Yeah, I would say it is difficult for us to expand to the countries where our competitors are already present. But we also we do not want to replace their solution with ours. We want to look for new fields that we will be first in.
You mean new geographies, right? New geographies, right?
Yes,
I mean, that's why
I would say new.
Okay.
Not only because our competitors focus mostly on radiology, but are due to the flexibility, our solution might be used in other specializations, because we are agnostic in terms of specialization. Because we focused on a language model, we focused on templates that are very flexible, so we do not require the doctor to be a radiologist to benefit from using our templates.
Yeah, Interesting. Okay.
And it is because of the lack of standardization in Poland. We need the software to be flexible, and thanks to this, we know that we might cover other specializations because we are already creating templates for those new specializations.
Better fit for like survival and natural selection just because of better adaptability. Nice. Let's move on. Paweł, let's move on to round 3. And this is a series of quick questions and answers, I hope. First, I usually ask about your own productivity hacks. How do you manage your time, productivity plans, and what you could share with us as well? Like, and again, not the product, I mean, not the software, Asana, Trello, Slack, whatever, but basically the ways. What are the ways of doing things that you think are making your life business-wise productive? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I get up at each day at the same time. Like, this is something like I like my routine because it is very like repeatable and predictable. And this like kind of makes my organism adapted to the working, because I got used to working between this hour and this hour, and my brain kind of knows, okay, this is the productivity time. You should focus on business. If you want some fun, yeah, you have time for it, and this will happen in 3 hours. So please be patient. It will come for sure. So
you're not the 5 a.m. kind of club member. I understand. This is not about this. It's about the regularity and waking up at the same time, right?
Yes. Yeah, I actually like to get up at 6, but so like later 5 a.m. club. But yeah, maybe it's not about the time. I like to get up at 6 because of the sun that I like to see through the window in the morning. But yeah, the regularity of it is what makes it useful for me.
So you want to meet the sun 6 a.m. or around that, okay? Do you have any routines in the morning? Do you do like what, like morning exercises, or do you read a book, or anything that you would like to share? How do you get into good intellectual shape?
Okay, so yeah, actually I do not have like any preparation before work, because I get up like all of the whole our team is a remote team, so all of us start at their house, and yeah, we need to get up from the bed and plug into the computer, and yeah, this is what usually happens with me. I have like 3 minutes between getting up and starting work, and after that I have like some breakfast and so on. I don't think I'm very like innovative in the field of productivity, but I feel that the regularity of my routine works for, at least for me.
Yeah, of course. Paweł, last question here in this round. If you had the power to change the way you do your work, would you stay remote, or would you change it to office-based?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I would say remote, because I was remote through almost all of my career. There are some problems related to remote working, because you need to keep yourself motivated. You need to have ways of cooperating with your team, and this is usually done thanks to some tooling that you might easily find on the internet, but you need the tooling. If you're office based, you simply need a whiteboard and an email, because you need to connect with the external world. But yeah, if you're remote, you need the tools, and there are a lot of them, so it is not that difficult to find what suits your needs the most.
Paweł, let me ask you here about an exotic tool of app or program that is helping you most. And again, not the usual culprits like Asana, Trello, Slack, and Google Suite or whatever. Any exotic programs, apps that you have discovered and help you out?
Let me think. I think that we do not have any. Okay, we are using, maybe it is a very commonly used tool, but we use it for unusual purpose, because we use a Git repository to gather our thoughts about system, and we use the version control to see the differences in our thinking thanks to the comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should.
So we have a single document, but it has many versions of it. Yeah.
Iterations
in Git repository. Yeah.
Oh wow, interesting. So not for the code, for natural text, basically. And
yes,
the evolution and development of the ideas and different iterations and so on. Interesting. And again, out of box. By the way, everybody, we had a problem with lighting, and what Paweł did is just used his girlfriend's mirror to change the angle, and all of a sudden he has the sun throwing some lights and rays of hope on his face. That was ingenious and really out of box. Just what a CEO or co-founder of a promising startup needs to have. Thank you. Let's move on, Paweł. Round 4, the company. So as first founders, Paweł Paczuski, Krzysztof Paczuski. Paweł is CEO, and your brother?
I'm Paweł.
Paweł Paczuski and your brother, and Krzysztof?
Yes, Krzysztof is my brother. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So that's a good thing to make your family part of the business, not the other way around. Interesting. How many people do you have right now in the team?
We have a team of 5 right now.
Okay, so your sales CEO, like more like scientific medical, right? I understand background. Then you have CTO, and what are other roles currently in the team?
We have a CMO, medical officer. We have COO, related to business development and partnerships. And we also have developer.
Okay, cool. Do you cover all your technological needs in-house, or you outsource as well?
Yeah, we cover all of our needs in-house.
Amazing. Okay. Do you have any plans for? Go on.
Yeah, we have a strategy for it, because when our team grows, we will have all of the skills of our system within already, so we do not have to import it from an external software development company.
Oh, yeah.
Because before creating upmedic, me and my brother, we had a small software house, and we knew how difficult it was to gather the knowledge from the heads of external developers, that we usually were them, and we spent a lot of time transferring the knowledge that we gathered about products that we helped developing.
Yeah. Software houses are a topic for a different conversation. Let's keep it aside for now. And Paweł, let's move on to round 5, Formula F3, or as we call this, for funding for the future. Okay. So I understand your last funding round was October 2021, when you raised $250,000 as a seed round from LT Capital.
Yeah.
Congratulations, first and foremost. We are recording this at the beginning of December. Now, what about your plans for the next funding round? When, how much, who would be your ideal profile of your VC for the next round?
We will focus on VCs very deeply integrated into the healthcare market, and that will help us with partnerships, with commercializing our software, especially with the distribution of it, with the legal requirements of different markets that we will want to focus on. We are still calculating how much we want to gather from the future round, because we have still several months to come before we do the fundraising. Yeah.
And what's the runway period you want, this fuel to keep you running?
Yeah, we still have like more than a year of a runway for our company.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Interesting. Paweł, with this, we'll need to wrap up. Thank you very much for your time. We'll be looking forward for more news from you and your company. Wish you all the best. Good luck, and keep us posted.
Thanks for having me, Alex. Goodbye.